everybody, so we're back talking some more House of the Dragon on the channel. With episode 5, we've officially reached the midway point to season 1, which in of itself is exciting to me because it's been a great first half of the season, but at the same time I am extremely sad because as far as I'm aware, this is the final episode where we're going to see young Rhaenyra and young Alicent Hightower, Lily Alcock and Emily Carey. This is supposed to be their final one before the time jump where Olivia Cook and Emma D'Arcy take over, which is unfortunate because I think both of them have done a fantastic job, especially Millie Alcock. I've grown really attached to young Rhaenyra, but at least on the bright side, they do go out on a very good episode with episode 5. Like usual, things are still heating up, but compared to most of the season so far, episode 5 does have a slow burn feeling to it as we get to witness yet another wedding in the Game of Thrones universe, which, as I've learned anything as a fan of Game of Thrones, weddings usually are extremely chaotic, and this one is no different. Getting to witness the marriage between Rhaenyra Targaryen and Laenor Velaryon. Before getting into the insane wedding though, I liked how we opened up the episode getting to actually see Daemon's wife, Rhea Royce, probably for the first and only time. Daemon described her really poorly in the past, how ugly she was, but she seemed pretty normal to me. I mean, she doesn't like Daemon at all. They're very hostile towards each other when they do meet. I wouldn't exactly say that I'm surprised that Daemon goes there to tie up some loose ends and kills off his first wife, because he has bigger dreams on the horizon for other people in the episode. As far as the future warring between Alicent Hightower and Rhaenyra Targaryen, the pieces have continuously been laid over the course of the season so far, but I'm really liking the pieces that are laid out in this episode because I actually do think it is a better idea to have Alicent more active in all of these different things, mostly with Criston Cole later in the episode. Not only that, but also just figuring out that she probably shouldn't have actually had any faith in Rhaenyra Targaryen. The relationship is kind of severed completely at this point when she finds out that that abortion tea, was kind of covering up the fact that she was also lying to her. That, along with Sir Criston going to Alicent Hightower and admitting everything between her and Rhaenyra Targaryen, because he's a little salty when Rhaenyra kind of suggests later on that he can be the side piece while she's actually married to Laenor, because he's talking crazy. He's talking about going off, just saying screw all of this stuff, we're gonna go off on our own Essos, we're gonna have our own family, get married, which kind of sounds ridiculous in this Game of Thrones world to try and do that, especially Rhaenyra Targaryen, who is the heir to the Iron Throne. Between all of this stuff and what comes later at the wedding between Laenor and Rhaenyra, it's not a great episode for Sir Criston. I don't think there's going to be as many people pining over him compared to in the previous episode. Speaking of Laenor and Rhaenyra, I really like their scenes together, the few scenes that we did have of them walking and kind of understanding that even though they really don't want to be married to each other, they do have to kind of fulfill their duties, and on top of the fact that we all now officially know that Laenor is gay. I wasn't really entirely sure if that was obvious to people going in from the previous episodes because we didn't get a whole lot of time with Laenor, and the goose analogy, I mean, it was very clear without very visibly saying that they're gay. Now, if it wasn't clear already, I am a sucker for dragons. Even though we don't get a whole lot of dragon action here, it was very cool to see them kind of ride in as the wedding celebrations are beginning, and also just the fact that we get to see all the different houses make their grand entrances. I think the coolest entrances probably are the Velaryons, Alicent Hightower, just because, you know, it has that significance with her walking in with the green dress on, and of course Daemon. I mean, Daemon walks in and he's always just a tornado of chaos, and that continues once again. They pull up a chair for him at the very end of the table. I don't think he was invited, but so it was kind of a fun shock to see everyone surprised that he actually arrived. There's also the fact you see him putting the moves on Laena Velaryon, and even a little bit Rhaenyra. I mean, let's be honest, they've had that tension before in the last episode, and it continues even at her own wedding to someone completely different. The wedding itself I thought was beautifully done. The production value alone was stellar, but the tension in the room is what made this really great to me. There was so much tense situations with these characters, all of these lovers that are bitter about this marriage, whether it be Sir Criston Cole or even Daemon a little bit. I mean, let's be honest here. So it wasn't a surprise when a brawl inevitably does break out because Laenor's partner, Joffrey, you know, what a name, Joffrey, let's have him get beat up in the episode. He gets the shit beat out of him, brutally murdered by Sir Criston Cole in this giant brawl. And I mean, Sir Criston Cole, like I said, it's not a great episode for him. I think this is the breaking point. So it's going to be intriguing seeing Sir Criston Cole in the next episode after that time jump, now that we see how bitter he is and resentful he is for Rhaenyra turning him down and still getting married to Laenor Velaryon. That's kind of how we end off the episode as Viserys continues to get worse and worse. Every episode, that man is decaying at a rapid rate, so I'm really scared to see what he looks like when we do the time jump. I imagine he's going to be alive, obviously, but is he really going to be alive? That man is like on the brink of death every episode. He's like using leeches. He's bleeding all over the place in this episode. So we'll have to remain to see where we go in the next episode. But I'm going to really miss these actors here, Millie Alcock and Emily Carey. They were so great as these young versions of these characters. But now that you've heard my thoughts on episode 5 of House of the Dragon, make sure you share your thoughts down below. What did you think of episode 5? Did you like the episode? Not like the episode? Also, how are we feeling about that midway point of season 1 of House of the Dragon? Are you liking the show a lot so far? Share any thoughts down below. Also, where do you think we're going to go, at least for the rest of season 1 when it comes to the story? Because I feel like it's going to get pretty spicy, but I don't know how spicy it's going to continue to be. Also, if you're a big fan of other Game of Thrones content involving me, I am reacting to every single episode of Game of Thrones over on my friend Larry's channel, Chili Boy Productions. I've said for so many weeks now in a row, we are starting season 7. I don't really control when we record season 7, so if you really want that more in the near future, you're going to have to bother Larry about it, because that's kind of his thing. Also, there is some other fun Game of Thrones content involving me on his channel coming up in the near future as well, so make sure you stick around. If you like that content, make sure you like on the video and also subscribe to the channel so we update reviews, reactions, unboxings, and more. The next time, I'll see you guys later.